Well, the connection in the hotel dropped. Let's see where it goes now. Let's see if we continue that because the I switched to the mobile because I didn't notice it was dying. And when I start talking, but there's going to be part two of this, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it shows up anywhere. I'm going to close this out and let's see if we show all posts. Yeah, I've started a new one. So I'm running on LinkedIn now. There's going to be part two of this, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it shows up anywhere. Okay. So you got this one going. Let's see what's happening on YouTube. Hold on a second. Bear with me. I will. It's weird. I guess the internet here dropped in a hotel. Better. Let's see. Subscriptions. NC Web Dev is live. Yep. And at Beerathon, we're live again. I just split it up into two things, but anyhow, so it is what it is. I did notice where I stopped, so I'll continue. If anybody shows up, we'll have two posts instead of one. It's not life's not over. We continue. I still have stuff to go through. So here we go. Um, Alfredo can join us in a new thing and show up. That's it. All right. So, uh, oops. Sorry about that. Part two starts now. I'm going to go back to sharing the. It was like 5 minutes that I was running for. But I remember where I stopped, and I stopped at the 16-year-old thing I was showing the post. Share the screen again. And we're going to run on mobile data right now. But what was weird, the computer didn't say we were not running on data, but the stream thought otherwise. And so it was unsteady. Saturday night. Who knows what happened? Um, shit, I'm not knowing my guess. Share the screen. Yep, share. What does it look like? Yep, looks like that. Good. And now we go to the post I did, which is now, it's funny. See, now you have the 1, 2, 11 comments, 1 like. I started 1 hour ago. So anyway, let's go to the post. Again, I will go back here. This one's live. This one ended. We'll just cut it into one stream afterwards. So you'll get it on the podcast. This was the post. It had 309 impressions. View analytics. No comments. No. See more. There we go. So I stopped the first part because I already kept talking about it. But someone justifying they bought their Range Rover. I said, yeah, just don't buy them a Ferrari. But that was already off the thing because they kill themselves because they can't even drive Volkswagen Beetle. They give them a Ferrari or Formula One, kill themselves. My son, his hockey friend. Yeah, unfortunately, he's not among us because he did get a race car Nissan, and that's what happened. So, but other than that, if it's a Rolls Royce or if it's whatever, hey, give it away, give it away, give it away. It's not a LinkedIn type material. It's not going to help my boost of my knowledge or nothing else. So what do I care? Anyway, second point was a bunch of hot chick ChatGPT generic truths. Things like, all I have to do is monetize my efforts by deep dive delving into all sorts of stuff, know your target audience, subdivide, appoint, delegate, That's what you got to do to be successful on LinkedIn. I'm like, yes, I know. I could just ask ChatGPT and will give me the same thing. Don't need your years of expertise and hot lips. So, you know, all good. I asked some questions, never got a reply to any of those anyway. Because hot chicks don't reply back to you because you're not cool enough to understand their genius. But like, I was expecting some sort of answer. If you have to ask, I don't even have to bother. But she didn't even bother to ask, like telling me like she doesn't have to bother. I don't have to, whatever. So people's next thing I noticed was people posting America's funniest home videos. Why? I don't know. You know, everybody know the show. It's great, cool, but fighting, lying, somebody in a costume, penguins walking by with a TikTok logo over the video, nonetheless. I'm like, what quality do you bring to me? What is it exactly that you are? Let me just double check my audio here. Headset, speaker, man, it's all good. I don't know what happened with the video, but it's split up into two. Anyway, so this was my post based on last night, and then I just ended up drinking a couple of beers and talking to my friend in Czech. And I went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning anyway. It's just I didn't achieve any success on that. Anyway, so America's funniest home videos are cool. They increase the screen time. And I will write another post on this for Deep Thought Sunday, maybe, or even Monday. Deep Thought Monday, maybe I'll do this time. I don't know. But, uh, but right now I'm just, oh, like, the algorithm cares about the screen time, nothing else. And then the next thing people share is people sharing their that was my feed, Friday night feed on my LinkedIn. People sharing their grief and beef with the world, crying and complaining. Yep, I'm saying that as I'm crying and complaining about this post. Yep, call it hypocrite. It's a very Hippocratic thing. I understand. But still, I'm being constructive about it. These people just, well, you know, this guy hurt me, this guy skinned me, this guy did this guy did that, the other thing. I'm like, people, just don't worry about it. Just don't bother me. Don't cry. If you need a psychotherapist, go and get one. Don't tell me here. I don't need to know that people are scammers. That's what I was saying too. I got into, and we're in a period where we get scanned by USPS, undelivered package. Give us your credentials. Give us your things. There is today I got that my deposit into Chase Bank didn't go through, $1,700. Well, we could deposit this, but you just gotta give us these credentials. I'm like, nah, I ain't giving you shit. And I'm like, and to hell, you know. Hey, best of luck with the stream. Are you willing to join us now? Would you like to join us and talk about share your experience of last night? Or are you gonna save that for your event tomorrow, my dearest son? But yeah, so this was my post today, and yeah, I'm trying to be in the studio, but I can't really read the screen in the studio. So I go into the thing tab, and that's how it escaped me. So people sharing their grief and beef with the world. Oh, these people scam me. I'm such a poor guy, and I don't know, and this thing, and it's unfair. And LinkedIn is not using it. LinkedIn doesn't care about you. Never did. So if you complain about LinkedIn not caring about you, yeah, well, good luck. But yeah, there's nothing to comment, nothing to engage with, no value that I can bring to improving the 16-year-old's feeling about her new Range Rover and stuff. But when you take the path of engagement, make sure you engage with something of value, something with that's continuation of my post, something within your industry that highlights your expertise. Out of these four main topics dominating my feed, what the heck am I going to be engaging with? What can I say? But my LinkedIn offered nothing. Only clickbaits, generic bits of content, boring trash. Content I've seen hundreds of times on other platforms, whether it's Reels, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, and even here now. Content I've seen hundreds of times on platforms and here. Is the tide turning on LinkedIn? Is it becoming a popularity contest for narcissists and psychos? Time to start an OnlyFans page because I'm a sexy guy. But yeah, no, I don't think so. So yeah, this is my sign. And then I asked two questions. I said, yes, after midnight, I didn't find a single piece of content worth my engagement. Or maybe the feed goes into dark underground resistance mode after midnight. So I just engaged with my friend. I was texting with my friend, messaging in Czech Republic, and it was all good. So, but yeah, I could send my son the invitation. Let's see, copy invite link. Let's see if he accepts. But and just comes to say, stop by to say hello. I'm gonna stop sharing screen. Well, this was my post, and the post received, like I said, thanks to Luke Matthews. He helped out a lot. But and the funny thing was, I'll tell the story right afterward. Let me just stop sharing. View analytics now. 311 impressions, 160 members reached, 23 reactions, 21 comments. Of course, half of them are mine. This is some of the more detailed statistics on LinkedIn, and so demographics. They've gotten better at this a little bit, but nothing to write home about still. Stop sharing, and I already did. And I have to write this out here and kicked off part one. So, anyway, this was my post. This was the performance on it, and and here we are. So let me get the chat here. Yeah, this is unfortunately part two of the event. Only 12 minutes. The first 40 minutes was there. Yeah, because when I woke up this morning, I want to write that post similar to this. And then the funny thing was, I look at Luke Matthews. He had a video, 60-minute video, 60-second video. And he's talking about exactly that. It's either two ways you got to go. If you're a hot chick, you're going to get a lot of things. If you're not, just either scam people by telling them you're honest and yeah, you will provide them massive growth, and at the end of the day, you'll just sign them up for a pod that they'll be paying $100 a month, and everybody in the pod will, which is by the way legal, but they will be engaging with their stuff. So I mean, I don't know. Anyway, continuation of this post will be why that happened. Why it froze, I don't know. So it's kind of hard because I'm watching that and I'm sharing it, and so my thing froze over there, my preview, but this is here, so let's hope Alfredo finds way back as well. I could text him, I guess, but I don't know. Let me go back to him. No. So, where did I stop? I just was texting Alfredo if he wants to show that we're continuing, but in another post. So who knows? Anyhow, so Luke Matthews posted this, and I was like, "Oh, cool." So then we engaged, and if you see this, and so by him commenting on it because he agreed with me. So I finally struck a note with him. We I comment on a lot of his posts because I do agree with him in many things, not 100%, and that's what keeps me original. Because you should never listen to somebody and blindly follow. Have your own mind, and yeah, especially on LinkedIn, there's no cure for all. But don't try to think that you are you'll be able to substitute your uh, uh, lack of knowledge with ChatGPT. It's vice versa. ChatGPT will boost you, but you cannot replace your work with ChatGPT. And this brings me to the next point that I prepared. I'm just thinking whether how I should hide this here. I guess I'll just let me see. Okay, yeah. Let me just cover this. No, actually, I'll just cut it shorter. I think. I don't know. We may be able to. No. Let's see. I don't want this to show, so uh, fill yes, transparent, no. I'm gonna block this off, and I'm gonna share the screen. I think that's gonna be the better one, better version. Let me try it that way. It's not share screen; it's actually share window. Uh, uh, mm, uh, 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 Share window. Yep. This is what a bad. I hate to say scammer, but I would say more like a lazy person. But yes, it's scam because if anybody says I create new and meaningful connections, and then it starts building meaningful connections. In the digital age, building a strong network is more crucial than ever. It's not just about who you know, but how well you know them. True success in network building comes from fostering, which is a great ChatGPT word, deep, meaningful connections that go beyond surface level interactions. Ding! We get the star. The power of authentic relationships created by ChatGPT. Mutual growth. When we invest in genuine relationships, we create opportunity for mutual learning and growth. Support systems. A strong network provides a reliable support system offering guidance, encouragement, and resources when needed. Collaborative success. By connecting with others who share our values and goals, we can achieve greater success together than we ever could alone. A light bulb. Next chapter: strategies for building authentic ChatGPT connections. Of course, the ChatGPT is not there, but just making fun of that. Be genuine. Let ChatGPT write everything for you. Approach every interaction with authenticity, just like my ChatGPT generated post, and a genuine interest in others. Show appreciation. Regularly express gratitude and appreciation for the people in your network, aka BS. Let's focus on building networks that are not just wide but deep. That's another one. That are not just wide, but this stinks with ChatGPT crap. So sorry. And then the worst thing about it is the fact that, and I'm going to show this next, is this person. I mean, I'm uh, uh, where's my comment. I think it's this one. Again, I'll cover this one, but I don't know. Anyway, so this is the next one I'm going to show on this one, and with another window. And like I said, I don't want to like shame anybody here and do anything, but I create new and meaningful connections. How? Through prompting. So no, sorry, I don't take that. And it's just, come on, be honest. Be honest. I'll use robot to do all the work, and so you'll sound authentic. Hmm. If you believe that one, I got a bridge for you. You can buy maybe the Brooklyn Bridge, Karlstein Castle. You know, there's plenty of stuff I can sell you 6 times over, and you can go ahead and buy it. But anyway, so this is crap. Let's get out of this one. Uh, so my comment to that was this, and I'm not sure if I even got a. Let's see. Yes. This was my comment. I don't believe, but I think it did get one like at this point, but I don't know. Um, Again, I gotta go through the blocking out. No, I don't. It's fine. This one. I'm just gonna scroll it down, up and down. But yeah, share window, and that's it. So my comment on that one was ChatGPT is a vital connection to keep a close, up, and personal relationship with, especially when in another country in this digital age, Daniel. So boom. Yeah, if you want to be personal, use ChatGPT. You watched the South Park episode where, you know, Kyle and Wendy were, oh, so he loves me. He's like, oh, what about that boat accident in Switzerland? Uh, yeah, don't do that. It's not a good idea. And even Luke Matthews said, you know, he was the 60-second video that he posted today. It had like a average view rate of 25 seconds, and that means crap. And he says, you know, because I didn't lie to people, so they didn't stick around. So even crap like this guy posts, well, be meaningful and relationships, blah blah blah. People buy into it, you know. So what are you gonna do? But that was my fight against that, and I don't think I had anything. Oh yeah, I do want to show some pictures of not this one, but I had three I want to show. Let me go. This is it or not? But I don't think I uploaded the one. Anyway, Greensboro. Yeah, it does have that, and I'm trying to find this here. Yeah, this one's crap. Anyway, so and downtown. Oh, I'm not gonna. I didn't post the one that I wanted, but still. Screenshot LinkedIn. So this was my today's post and contribution to fight against ChatGPT generated posts, and yeah, time to have another beer, and I'll talk more about some other stuff. We have 12:52. I wanted to end at like 1, but let's do a countdown for. Back to welcome screen. Sorry about the little delay, but I was just replenishing. Uh, Not sure if that was heard in the thing, but in the live stream, but we'll see. We're back. So there was actually one more thing I want to go through just to let people know what's going on in the world. Had an interesting conversation today with my friend in Czech Republic who wants to go to a spa because he doesn't feel that well. It's fine, you know. We all want to be in touch with ourselves and treat ourselves to nice things and stuff. But at some point, and this is my personal thing, is like I said in the beginning, I'm not a fan of 5-star hotels. I think a lot of that is fake. I mean, I've been with some very wealthy people in my lifetime, but luckily I was with the non-snobbish wealthy people. Let's put it that way, because money doesn't change you. If you're an idiot, if you get $5 billion, you just be an idiot with $5 billion. If you're a normal person and you don't go nuts from making a lot of money and stuff, you can keep you cool. You know, you just be who you are. And luckily, I've had a lot of run-ins with many other people that are just normal. You know, one of them is, and I'm not sure if I want to be really mentioning names, but my son did play hockey with, for example, Eric Tulsky, who's the now the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. So with his son, he played a whole season, and I can agree with a lot of his opinions. I don't have to, but the one thing is he's got a high position. And when we played the season with him, he was the vice general manager or deputy general, whatever that was. He was the second up rank. He was driving a 20-year-old car. We're like, why should I buy a new one? Same thing with my friend in New York. He owns a lot of real estate and stuff, and he just was driving a 20-year-old Ford something, and then just bought a new one because they stole it, and that was it. But out of necessity. But it's normal people, and he drinks beer, and he actually drinks the cheapest beer. And I told him one time, I said, why don't you just like spend $5 more and buy a different beer? He says, well, because it's not the cheapest beer, Like, do you like the beer you're drinking? No. I was like, come on, you're gonna be that cheap. So that's an extreme on the other side of the spectrum. But anyway, so my friend was picking a spa. He's been doing that for like 20 minutes or something, a discussion. He's still looking through the internet and stuff. We're talking about this stuff as well. And then he had then I read him this thing, and again, go back to my post that I posted today about people, and this one, come on, and in that I had a comment from a guy, and I do want to read this because it's should bring things into perspective for many people. So here it is. Comments. I'm going to read this here. Israel Kolawali is a dude. He's got 482 followers. Commented on my post. I did connect with him. Generally, I don't connect with just everybody, especially from overseas, but there were exceptions. One of them is Nicodemus. We did a webinar a year ago. I was just thinking about that today. Even because of this, I was like, we got to do another thing with Nicodemus. But I definitely will get a. I'm going to share the screen here. I will definitely set up a one-on-one with this dude as well. And when you talk about authenticity outside of ChatGPT saying, let's deep dive into the dive of the deep, and let's deepen our deep relationships and be authentic about it. Okay, dude. Okay, give it up. But this guy, this is what authenticity looks like. And I was like, you really got to think about it. And let's see. Let's get this to share mode, LinkedIn. And I'm going to read you something to realize, especially people in America and the Western world in general. And I've always realized this. I've always known this. And I always keep things like this in back of my head. Because he posted a thing. Let me know what you think about this. Adorable said, texting me a link to controversial post. And he says, oh, that's right. I can't read it here because for some reason it doesn't. Let's see if I can. Let me go into here. For some reason, Brave browser doesn't like certain things. I don't want to log in here, but nope. Anyway, I'll do it from the phone. But yeah, it's this post, this dude, and I'm gonna read it out from the phone because I'm just not gonna bother with screenshotting or something like that. But this type of post makes me think, and he's got a lot of reactions on it too. So, show posts, comments. Here we go. Let me know what you think about this. Adorable said, texting me a link to controversial post. And another quote, I've been planning to write about this for a while, but I've been procrastinating. Maybe I should do that tomorrow, I replied. Okay, but I still wanted to know your thoughts. Sure, but if I tell you now, you won't appreciate my post. Better start typing. So I changed the conversation, had a good night's rest, and started typing this morning. You see, posters from a Nigerian living in Canada who said, hiring people living in Nigeria can be very frustrating. If they don't have network issues, they'll have power issues. Maybe I should start looking towards India or the Philippines. Well, it's no lie that Nigeria has its issues, but many Nigerians have found workarounds, like keeping a backup SIM for when their network decides to misbehave. Well, like in part one of this post here, in a hotel. I don't know. And it's like probably even the hotel's fault. It's just the internet went out on, I think, Spectrum they're using or something. I don't know. Anyway, and having a power bank or a charging spot for when the NEPA strikes. Things got interesting when a guy named TY responded. This is a personal problem. I remember when I was still in my dad's house, we had bad electricity. Our generator wasn't working, so I bolted out and bought a new one. On the other hand, Gabriel disagreed. It's not a personal problem. Most people are stuck in the situation beyond their control. Many struggling to land a gig that can afford them a generator or a reliable laptop. Then a self proclaimed emotional copywriter got very emotional and said, nobody cares whether you have electricity problems or not. If you can't fix your problem, then you're not smart enough. No apologies. Of course, it won't be easy to fix, but you must find a way a client won't pay you money and listen to excuses. Go lodge in a hotel for 2 days and deliver the murder king job. Or get a laptop power bank, an inverter, or anything. Get the murder freaking job done by all means. Relying on Tinubu fix problem is more stupid, dull students. How about dull students? But what? The first guy must have had an irresistible ass for this level of bootlicking. But what annoyed me most was they judged blindly without confirming if the first guy was even a good employer. Because someone else pointed out that if he paid $2,000 or at worst 1,000, the freelancer would be comfortable enough to cover basic needs and deliver a quality job on time. But the first guy wasn't having it. He fired back. Who sets the standards for how much to be paid? 1,000 is freaking N 1.7 million. Which world are we living in today? Jesus. Aha. So now it's clear that this Nigerian in Canada wasn't looking to hire out of love or support, but for cheap labor. Yet he was still shocked that his job wasn't getting done fast, which makes it obvious that the Aslickers who insulted the struggling freelancer and called him dull were just projecting. Anyway, this situation made it clear that one shouldn't judge blindly, and an employer shouldn't expect magic for peanuts. Well, what do you think? I mean, that's the post, and this is deep. And many people that are living comfortably in America, they don't realize the struggles that other people go through in other countries. And yes, sometimes it's not a problem, but sometimes this is the exploitation. This is why we get into politics a lot, but I don't want to. However, you do have to realize, me, especially growing up in communism, I remember how you have to have workarounds. Workarounds is something that annoys me a lot, but it's part of but it is part of the game. Let me. And in countries where you don't have the resources and stuff, and you're just looking for cheap labor, and you're still expecting top of the line stuff, and this part of the reason why I'm hesitant to go to hire people or give jobs to people that are far away, because not because I have something against them, but because I'm unclear about what situation they're in, and there are a lot of scammers again, and we have a lot of scammers in the U.S. and we have a lot of scammers abroad. So it's a global issue, the whole scamming thing. However, in the U.S., I can handle it, and in Nigeria or Philippines and India, it's sort of out of my control. And I have another potential client, somebody, well, my translation agency client, that lost millions of dollars dealing with India because he just didn't have anybody to sue there and millions of dollars, literally. And so this is the problem. But my whole point of this conversation is to get into politics and specific information. If somebody lost $1 million or $2 or whatever, like, you got to realize you're gonna order something from somebody else, someplace else, long distance. It's gonna be very cheap, and that's why you're ordering it, because you want cheap labor. You don't want to pay a top dollar. These people over there, for them, that job could be everything. I mean, they could like probably feed the family for a year, a couple of $1,000s. I'm talking about just food basics. I'm not talking about other things. But like, people don't like you don't have a you have a lot of power outages and you need a generator. And if you're expecting to pay them $2 an hour, make sure you buy them the generator. Says what, like, okay, I'm gonna pay you $2 an hour, which is perfectly fine. If they agree to it, it's fine. But you gotta ask them, do you have the technology? Well, if they would have the technology and the backing, they would not be charging $2 an hour. So if you're going to be hiring somebody from another country, a poor country, or a country that's not as rich, as wealthy as you, or your, you know, Western countries, or whatever you want to call it, help them out. Take the extra step. That's where you're going to be helping the people. You don't help them by expecting American standard quality stuff for $1 without the backbone of, that they could work off of. It's not that they're bad or evil, just don't have the money. Okay, so, and if you're expecting top level service at less than wholesale prices, you're the problem. So hire American, pay American dollars. If you want cheap, go elsewhere. But realize that you're gonna have to help those people. You can't just exploit them forever. And they don't have the resources for you even sometimes. So that's what it is. I mean, but yeah, the bottom line is everything. But it's not. And it doesn't make the people over there bad. Doesn't make them good. Doesn't make them bad. They're just people like everybody else. But they are most likely short on resources. And it's not that they wouldn't go out and buy a generator. It's probably, and I think it was another piece in that post, but I just don't remember reading it here. So I think it was another one. It was another space. But he says, it's probably the problem is that job that you're going to give him for the $1,000, if you send them the money, they'll be able to get the generator. And that's why they want that job, to be able to compete with others, because they can make more money and make a bit bigger back office and more solid and stable. But it's just problems. But yeah, it's a fair guy. Um, that's an honest, authentic post, not Chat GPT generated. And that's the type of stuff that we should all be looking at and considering and posting. And yeah, my next post will be next one tomorrow, day after. See, now Freya, see, I'm talking about this, and Freya's here. Hello, Freya. And I will put this chat up because that is what it is, and it's, by the way, it's similar in America, so don't worry, it's perfectly fine. In South Africa, we call it state proofing. Anything managed by municipalities, government, thus this falling apart. Roads, police, electricity supply, so people who can afford to it fix their own local roads, pay private security, and generate their own electricity, either with generators or solar panels. Yes, and that's my point. Is you don't want people to be like, well, they don't want to pay them $1 an hour, and if they don't deliver American quality service and they're not available 24/7 for me for $1 an hour, kind of like, come on, get your head on straight. That's not what that's not how this works. It's like you want cheap labor, you got to expect some issues. You want to have lower priced labor, help them set up, make an investment. Okay, you could hire people from Nigeria, from Nepal, from wherever. But first, if you decide to work with that group of people and they'll tell you, listen, we don't have the money to buy 3 generators and 2 high quality laptops. We are doing good work, but we need to invest in our company. So if you want the whatever couple of dollars an hour job, first give them a couple of $1,000s for them to be able to set up a professional office. Then they'll work for $2 an hour. But you know, it's just ridiculous. And then yeah, thank you, Freya, for chiming in. And I know you're from Africa, so South Africa. So again, yeah, that post touched me by Israel, and thank you for reinforcing that because it's is what it is, and a lot of people here are like, well, I don't know if I want 2 sinks in the kitchen. I don't know if I want two. So no. The other day I was watching, and this is a rant by me anyway, but I was watching Fox News, and they call themselves, the conservative network, and they want to be in touch with the ordinary folk. And I hate the word regular, ordinary, everyday people because what's what is extraordinary about the people on TV or in politics? And it's one thing I like about Trump. He is strange, but he's still at least understands people and tries to do things that are good for people. But again, it's not about the politics. Let's stay on focus on the Fox News guys. And they were like, the ladies, they were like, oh no, well, we're having a great discussion, but uh, I don't know if I want to live in a house with just 1 sink because my husband he has this thing, and my husband says I have this thing, and I the hair and the faucet and this thing. We need 2 sinks in the bathroom. I don't know, and this is so great. We have 2 sinks in the bathroom. While people in Africa worry about having tap water. I mean, come on, people. Like, can you be more out of touch with the reality of life? Like, I'm happy if I don't have cockroaches, for example, and that's good for me. And I have water, I have electricity, I have everything I need, and I'm perfectly fine. I don't need a Rolls Royce. And because if you happen to have some Grey Poupon, well, I always loved that commercial with passion because it was like just shows the out of touchness and out of reality and detachment um, from regular life. I guess it's just like, I don't know, it's a house with a bathroom with 1 sink. How can anybody live like that? And we're here, we're a network for the regular folk. No, you're not. You're just out of touch, just like everybody else in politics, and so that's why I don't. I just don't. I can't deal with a lot of this stuff. And as far as Freya and stuff, it's Ronald Reagan said it the best. If somebody knocks on your door and says we're the government and we're here to help, start being afraid and run because government never helps. Not never. You can't say never. And it's never say never. But most of the solutions that the government offers are not human focused. Let's put it that way. And this is not Republican or Democrat issue because both are guilty just the same way. But anyway, so yeah, this is my fun stuff. And yeah, if anybody who's watching still stayed with me, it's part two now. Ask me a question, and I 100% agree. If you want to hire people from Africa, make sure you set up you know, make sure you help to set up a generator network. And this is the same thing with power grid in the U.S. It's we're so far fortunate enough that we have one, but if we keep pushing those electric cars without, and I have nothing against electric cars other than that they're inefficient, charging takes a long time. But hey, if everybody was going to have just electric cars, let's make sure we have the electricity for them. I think that would be the step number one. Is I don't know, just say a stupid number. If you get a million electric cars, they use 3 gigawatts of energy per hour. Make sure you're producing 6 gigawatts, not 1 gigawatt. But if you're producing 1 gigawatt and you're telling people, well, everybody go out and buy electric cars so we can use 6 gigawatts, you're going to run into problems. So, but that's the government way. Well, everybody's going to use electric cars. The cows fart too much. I know they get these popular opinions, and it's like, no, you need to realize first we need to generate enough electricity. And if we don't have enough electricity, we can't have electric cars. Well, they're good for the environment. No? Well, yes, because nobody will be going anywhere, but by nobody getting anywhere because we don't have enough electricity, is that really going to be good for the environment? And I can agree it is, but oh well, but we can't use coal power plants. Well, um, you got to go nuclear. Well, that's not a good idea either. Well, then come up with one. I'm open to suggestions. And there's nothing more greener than nuclear power plants at this point. I'm sure there's a lot more technology that's out there that we can use to generate more power, but we don't have them yet. So just be an inventor, come up with a solution, and let's get everybody an electric car. But don't get everybody an electric car so you have power outages, and then the government, like in California, will tell you, well, on Mondays, people with the last name this drive, and then odds and even numbers, and then because we don't have enough power. Well, make sure you have enough power before you push into technology. And if you're going to be hiring people from Africa that have these problems that we're slowly heading towards either, because even Stephen Hawking said it's evolution of societies is the power stage. This let me look this up now. But there's the whole society. Hawking, Stephen Hawking. There's three. Well, I think we're in this evolution of society. Stephen Hawking. Wait a second. Stephen Hawking stages. We're going to jump on in here. 22 years ago, Stephen Hawking argued this simple technology was the greatest contribution human to his DNA. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. But anyway, there's Stephen Hawking brings so much famous brief history. Stephen Hawking, I know, was the energy stage. Energy stage. Our government controls electricity generation. They can't keep the lights on, so we have rolling blackouts. We call them either load shedding or load reduction. But let me finish the reading is here. But our president wants to make electric cars manufactured in South Africa's big thing. Talk about smart cities and other electricity dependent progress. But since 2008, we can't keep the lights on. Sounds like California and many other places, Freya. So, yeah, this is the government. When they say, well, they're here to help, just start running for your life. But no, it's definitely. And then back in 2008, I was dealing with a lot of solar stuff, and I met with people from the Czech Energy, which is Ches, which is the big energy producer, and they do have the two electric power plants, nuclear power plants, which is Dukovany and Temelin. And they said, yeah, we're already at 100% capacity. We need to build another block of Temelin and this. And then you have Austria that comes in and says, well, we're completely nuclear free. Well, yeah, because the Czech nuclear power plant supplies 80% of your energy for your country. So that's why you don't need one. And you can talk to the world about, oh, you should abolish all nuclear energy. Because, and where do you get your energy? Well, we don't need it. Well, yeah, but and where do you get it though? Well, from Czech Republic because they have a nuclear power plant, so we don't need one. Yeah, exactly. So kind of plan ahead. But yeah, if you leave it up to the government, they'll screw it up. Just the way it goes. But according to Stephen Hawking, what I remember, I can't find this now. But he was talking about the stages, and I think we're in stage three, where we are now very energy hungry society, and therefore, once we deplete all of our energy resources here, we will have to look and expand. This is something where Elon Musk comes in again. I'm talking political without wanting to be political, but Elon Musk comes in and he wants society to stretch out into Mars and stuff like that. And yeah, this as a society we will have to do that because we will be energy constrained and we need to get those resources from elsewhere. So that's my rant on that, and I'm gonna get my last. No, I still have more beer here. I just forgot about it, so I don't have to go yet. But yeah, so uh, energy is important, and back in the '70s, somebody asked Greenpeace about energy, and guys are protesting and all this. And I'm all for activism and stuff, and we should always be activists in some way or form, shape, or other. But then when you get into a discussion of like, we need to abolish all coal burning electricity, and they asked the dude, they were like, listen, dude, where do you think your electricity comes from? And he said, well, I get mine from the wall outlet in my house. And at that point, you're like, I don't think we need to have a conversation anymore. which reminds me another point I want to do today. But this is and this is about arguing on Facebook and stuff on in Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever. But yeah, some of these people are like so out of touch that's just like unbelievable, and especially people like the Greenpeace and stuff and the young. I get it. They'll grow into some things, but just should not be so radical hyperactive. But kind of like we should not be killing animals. Well, where do you get your burger from? Well, I buy my meat in the supermarket. Same type of answer. It's just, well, yeah, obviously, but somebody had to kill that meat before it got to that package in the supermarket. So people are very disconnected because, once upon a time in a conservative world, you had a farm, and if you wanted to have a chicken soup, you had to go outside and chop the chicken's head off on a chopping block, and you have to defeather it, throw it in boiling water, and cook the little sucker. And that's how you get your chicken soup and broth and healthy stuff. Yeah, that's all healthy, but I just don't want to be killing animals when I buy my stuff in the supermarket. Yeah, because it comes in packaged. You don't see that it was a live chicken before that. So it's kind of weird and stuff, but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go finish this beer, and I do want to cover one more thing that I did have planned for today, and I just remembered because of these dumb conversations. I want to talk about how we get into dumb conversations on social media with people that we wouldn't normally even talk to in real life. But we are so set on just winning that argument online. It's kind of like, just go in person and talk to that person, and you'll see that there will be a 30-second conversation before you just give up. Well, I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, 1 minute is a very short time. I'm sorry, but try to do it as quickly as possible. If I put 2 minutes, I would be 2.5. This way, I was maybe something over 1 minute, not two. But anyway, yep. So let's talk about my favorite topics. Facebook heroes. Something funny happened to me today, and it was back to the topic of International Women's Day, which is a total commie bastard holiday. I'll just say it like that because it is what it is, and I'm not gonna put up with it for even a minute longer. Debate about whose holiday it is, how well. What's a nice thing when we honor women? No, you honor women doing hard labor and going into like retraining camps in Kamchatka and Chukotka. Okay, so that's who you're supporting. Imprisonment of women in hard labor in the far east Siberian lands of Russia. But that's for you. Are you happy with it? I grew up in communism. I can tell you what it is. I can tell you how it is. I can tell you how to interpret it. And I did meet, uh, I did have a personal meeting with, uh, I just can't think of it off the top of my head now, but uh, they don't have one in Czech Republic for that. Oh yes, I can. I know the name now. I did meet in person someone named Miloš Jakeš, a very smart fella, commie bastard. Passed away at the age of 96. Very wealthy man because he was for the working class, so he had millions and millions of dollars in villas and whatever else. And no, these people did not consider International Women's Day to be a holiday for freeing women and ideas and thought. But anyway, that's besides the point. My main point is when you're arguing with somebody online, is we had a whole big thing about International Women's Day, a debate my son joined in, and today I saw the person's video who I was arguing with, quote unquote arguing. And I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. I can't believe I spent about an hour of my life debating this dude. A total weirdo, loser, who knows what. I'm like, if I saw him in person, I would just wave my hand and be like, just don't even bother. But because it's online, because you have that impersonal touch and connection, you sort of give that person more credit than they deserve. Because if you sat next to this guy and wherever else, you just be like, listen, just shut up. Don't even talk to me. Like, I don't even know you. So it's kind of like I saw that image, and that's the problem with social media is we give credit to people who are total idiots, and and these people then I call them Facebook heroes. They come online and like, oh, we acting all tough and shit. It's like, no, he's just an idiot. And then when I saw the video, then I was like, I can't even believe. I was like, holy moly! And it was like it just confirmed what I always thought too is just don't like to argue and get into discussions on anywhere with this. And so that's what it was. But so yeah, be careful who you talk to and just don't get so mad. Don't take stuff online seriously. Make the connection, take it offline, talk to the people. Don't just try to get into heated discussions and long debates and people have an opinion and live and let live. Let them live with their opinion. Just don't bother me with it. But when you see them in person, when you talk to them face to face, Zoom is perfectly fine. I do a lot of Zoom calls. And just be like, this dude is such a fool. It's not even like funny how like I would not never talk to that person. In a bar settings, I'm having a beer, and so he would walk by and be like, "What a weirdo! Don't even stop by." And like, used to go to the Golden Tiger and check, and I'd be like, if the bartender is there, the would tell me, "Hey, listen, can he sit here with you guys at the table?" I'd be like, no. I look at him, no. That would be my reaction in person, but you know, online you sort of give him some credit he doesn't even deserve. So don't get into these long conversations and stuff. Don't sweat stuff that happens online. And I've learned that a lot about people when I was building my Facebook betting group, which I built up to 10,000 people. So I learned that a lot, and I just don't take stuff seriously. But when I saw this and the argument I spent about International Women's Day with him, I was like, what a loser. What a straight out loser. And he may have some titles, he may be even like educated, smart, and all this in certain ways. He's just a loser. It's just like I said again, money won't make you a human being, and neither will a title. So if you studied 17 colleges, doesn't mean you're a smart person. It just means you're smart in the one way that you studied. But if you studied, I don't know, chemistry or biology or I don't know, physics, and you have a big, huge title, doesn't make you an expert on everything. And please do not educate me on communism because you know shit. I grew up in it. I was forced to go to the uh, meetings, and they were forcing me to become a pioneer with the Reds, which is somebody in my son's school still gonna get that. The red scarf tied around the neck, that little brown plastic knot, and you have to give your oath to the pioneers. I played soccer outside, and I was like, "Fuck it." I knew the oath, but I was like, I'm not going in. I don't need it. I ain't no, I ain't no training guinea pig for you guys. I'm not giving an oath to anybody. So, yeah, meet everybody online in person, at least over Zoom, as much as you can. Watch their videos. You'll see that, like many times, it's just not even the person's not even worth the discussion over. Take care of your business. Take care of your family, friends, and just chill. Just chill. Be good and chill. That's all I can say. But yeah, this stream has been going on for what? Close to 2 hours. I kept it going. And I'm just finishing my what? Yeah, let's see. Let's do a little tour. Oh, yes. The mess in the hotel room. But anyway, that is my tower of beers, 6 cans. And here's my two. And that's it. That's all you get to see today. And we're done for the night because there's no more beer. Will I be hurling tonight like my son? I don't think so. It's been a pleasant evening. The only surprise was the uh, blackout of the internet. It probably is on again, but I don't know. I'm using the phone. That's why I have 3 or 4 phones that I can use the internet on and share. It gives me 30 gigabytes, and if this 1 hour gives me 1 or 2 gigabytes less, so it's like 10 gigabytes I get every month. I just don't care. I like beer. I like beerathons. I like critical thinking. I like common sense, and I do take. I don't take criticism well. I can't say that, but I do accept it as long as you're able to justify it. Because the least I will do is I will think about it and I will try to find out why you don't agree with me. And then I will always find some way to agree with the perspective, although I may not adapt the same perspective, but I can try to find a way to agree with it. But if you just say, well, I'm just going to be against it just for the sake of being against it, that's not a valid argument. So don't even try that. If you want to have a different opinion than mine, defend it. Defend it well. Defend it with substance. Don't just say, well, because I feel like it. I hate the science of philology because that I think is the biggest BS in the 21st century so far. Is well, I feel this is correct, so that for must be a fact. Nobody gives a fuck about how you feel. So just let you know. But if you have a black on white, 25 plus 25 is 50. Hey, listen, and I'm saying something else, and you got a proof. Show it to me. Defend it. I will do the math. I will calculate it, and I will say, okay, I was wrong. Like my son is learning, it only happens about 2% of the times, but it does happen. Nobody's foolproof. Nobody's 100%. No matter what you do in life, you're not going to be 100% ever successful in everything you do. It's always going to be a small margin of error. Mine is 2%. What's yours? So, and to touch upon today's conversation under my post, Freya, is yes, I'm not a hot chick, and I can't use that for in my advantage. I will only use engagement. But I did have a question for you, Freya, and I will ask, and if you can post it here, we'll see it here. It's going to be great. Is because you said that you only engage with people that you know, and that you want to, you're selective about who you engage with. So can you, if you're still around, see two people watching, so I'm hoping one of them is you, as one of them is my phone, the other one hopefully is you. Is can you please, Fred, tell me how do you pick those people? Like how many do you have? How do you pick them? How So I'm just curious why, because I found that I was trying to about a year and a half ago when I first started being on LinkedIn regularly. I started with a bunch of people, Fabio Sausen, and then Robert Richards, or something Richards, and a bunch of other people. And we just were exchanging comments, reciprocating and stuff. And what happened was they all disappeared. And Essie was another one that's just not on LinkedIn in a big way. I'm not saying she's disappeared, but she don't post regularly. So when I first started LinkedIn, I at first didn't post regularly. Then I did, like I said in that post today that I read about. But not many people stick around for a long time, and no matter what people tell you, they'll tell you like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that, and blah 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 blah." And I'm always about being independent. Well, I've been independent since my early 20s, late teens. I can tell you that it's not easy. It's not easy running an independent show for 30 years. You get into a lot of trouble. You dig your way out. Something else happens, like the 2008 crisis, and you get right buried back into the crap you got out of. And that's how it is. Because so many people join LinkedIn saying, well, I'm going to build this business. I'm going to build this. I'm going to build that. And the first time something comes around, like, well, I'm going to build a business in coaching. And then if somebody comes around and says, well, how about I hire you and you do the same stuff for like 15, 20, $30 an hour, whatever it is. Yeah, they'll jump and they'll get employed, like just like that. So it's kind of like strange, but people. I told my son that I was like, I think a lot of these people tell them like how independent, how everything they are, and then at the end of the day, the first job offer, and they jump on it. So a lot of people build their LinkedIn profiles just to get a job, but the whole time they're building the profile, they'll be telling you some of them in the Chat GPT quotes. Being independent, find your target audience, focus, know your target, get to know your target audience and stuff. Come on, get the hell out of here. First person hires you for $12 an hour and you run right to them. Not me. It's death before a job, employment, like kind of way. So, and yes, we drank to that. With my son wants me to mention all the names I've met, and so here it is. At Molly Malone's in downtown Prague, me and Molly Culver have drank to Forever Independent. Who's Molly Culver? She starred in a beer movie with Rutger Hauer, and she was the supporting act for Pamela Anderson in the series VIP. So those are all the people I met in my lifetime. So I just been around, and I hate talking about it because I think it's just bragging. But we had a good time for a week in Prague, and no matter what club I went into, it was like I know all the people. Everyone was like, "Where did you meet this person?" I was like, "I don't know. She's an actress from America. I didn't know. No, she's a cool girl, and just hanging out, drinking, and having a party time for a week." And then a boy from Lithuania came over, and just spent some time with him. And then so hey, that's life. So anyway, so having a good time. That's what life is about. Who cares what happens next? It's called the Bohemian Lifestyle. The Bohem, which is an album I haven't heard in a while, but I forget what it was. It was Absinthe, Music de la Bohème. Very good album. So, Freya's probably departed us. She does. She didn't reply to my inquiry about keeping the people. Because I mean, I would love to know her strategy on how do you maintain all those people that you engage with to avoid the empty Friday night feed. That I was like, I would love to engage with something somewhere, and I didn't find it. And I'm like, and she says, well, I pick what I engage with. I was like, I do too. But soon enough, you run out of people because they quit, they get a job, they're out of LinkedIn, and then they come back later again. I mean, I connected with Essie. Like at first, we started with Essie doing a lot of we engaged daily. She disappeared because she got a job. Now she's back, but only commenting, not really posting. She posts sometimes, but not used to be daily. And so people are weird, but hey, I'm still around. So, and I think we'll do another Beerathon next week. Hopefully. I don't know. But I'll be heading north. So, what is it now? 17th? I think April I'll be heading up north. When I hit New York, meet my son in Bloomington at the end of that time for the end of April or May. But I do have some meetings set up in New York. And I am not departing the hotel life. It's actually one of the things I dreamed of most of my life. I was like, I just don't really want to have a base to live in. And I don't know if I want to find this right now, but like, if I if shit don't fit in my car, I don't need it. People are like, oh well, but you need to get no, don't fit in my. I'm not a hoarder. I am. If I would have my own apartment and stuff, I would. Like when I got the apartment in check after my grandfather, who was a microelectronic wizard, I had like a 15, 20. I think it was a 20-foot dumpster. A 20-foot dumpster. I filled with a small little basement, sort of a cell. And he filled it up with wires and everything else. Oh, people just hoard shit. Like hoarding is so bad. And when I was selling that apartment in 2013, I lived in my friend's house out of a duffel bag for 2 weeks. And I was like, that's it. That's the life. Have a duffel bag of stuff, take that with you, and just live on the road. People's houses, pay money. Yes, sure, always got to have make money. But I just don't want to be tied down to a single place. So much to see in the world, so much to discover, to reveal. And, some people love to be in one place for their entire life. And I can appreciate that sort of. I was like, it's not for me, but I understand why you're doing it. In Bloomington, I have a great bartender at um, Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's graduating now. And yeah, he's been in Bloomington. He's 22, 3, 4, and he's graduating now, and he's looking to move to Colorado. And I was like, Bloomington. He's like, yeah, I lived here all my life. I was like, holy shit. So, yeah, let me clear my nose again. Because from my end, ever since I was born, I never lived anywhere for more than like 5 years. And the apartment in Czech I held from 2000 to 2013, which was the longest time in my life I ever held a single address. Because born in Czech Republic in the street Kamenická. When I was like 3 or 4, we moved to another place. In the meantime, they sent me to an orphanage, rehabilitation place, whatever you want to call it. But I was alone from my parents and stuff, and then we moved to another address in downtown Prague. Then we went to Prague. I think it was 9. Then we went to Prague 6 by the airport. That's where I went to elementary school. My son went there when he was born afterwards. And from Prague 6, we immigrated through Austria, where I spent 9 months in Austria. Went to Staten Island, where we had one address. Well, we actually, that was another funny story. We lived in the closet of people that accepted immigrants and helped immigrants get acquainted. And they did go visit Donald Trump once a month, these people. And we lived in their closet for a year or a couple of months. I don't think it was a year. I think it was like 3 or 4 months because we came in April 16th, 1986. And I think to the U.S. And then we stayed 3 weeks in Manhattan, and then we went to them, stayed there for a couple of weeks. Actually, it wasn't even that long. And I forget. Anyway, so they went to visit Donald Trump because they were from the same city as his first wife. And so that was a connection to Donald Trump in the first place. And we went to Moreland Street, Kell Avenue. No, we went to Jasper Street, Kell Avenue, Moreland Street, Fox Beach was my college years. Moreland was my high school years. Like every 1 or 2 years, I moved on. And yeah, I'm not settling down yet. Then from Fox Beach, I went to, and I forget my mother's, 321. I forget the name of the street. Then from there, I went to Europe, back to Czech Republic, Prague. I spent a year or two in Kamenická, then went to Štichova, then I got the 1998, I got the apartment in Vlastina. Then that was until 2013. I sold that, went to Huntsbalka, back to New York, Staten Island, lived 2 years with friends of mine in a place that was not so great, and then went to Brooklyn, then to Raleigh. Now I'm just like living my life. I'm like, the hell with it. And now, since I don't have a wife or a child I need to take care of at home, I just live my life on the road. I've been a nomad since I was born. Like I said, I think I only in the apartment I spent 13 years in, but really didn't because we went. Oh yeah, 2003. I spent a year in Pennsylvania, for example, trying to get my real estate license and just made somebody else rich because I don't care about money in the first place. But I made them rich, and then I made a lot of people rich in my life too. They squandered it away anyway, so I was like, I'm not even bothering. And then they told me I owe money, usually. So what do I get? So, but yeah. So moving around and living on the road is fun. And now I'm finally able to because I've ended my divorce custody battles. My son has reached the age of adulthood, and I don't have a wife or a child that bears me down to one address, so I can move around freely. And if I decide in a couple of months to go to Mongolia, I can because I don't have to answer to anybody. And that's the whole thing in my life is I'm all about not answering to anybody, being free, being independent, being on my own. Which brings a lot of burden as well because if you're on your own, you're responsible for your good and the bad that happens in your life. A lot of people I notice don't really handle it well. Because, like, oh, well, shit, I'm responsible for myself. I'm like, yeah, you need to be because that's life. But that's a whole other story. And we'll leave that for another time. But yeah, every about 2 years, I've moved around and haven't really stayed. And when I was living in Prague in that one apartment, and it lasted a couple of years, changed the wife, changed the stuff, and traveled the world instead of just being stuck at home. So that's what it is. Anyhow, I think that's enough for today. It's 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Freya didn't really reply to me. Hopefully, she'll comment on it later. But I'm just wondering, Freya, how you keeping the people that you say you carefully select? How do you make sure they stay? Because most of them don't. That's why I go back to the scroll and try to look for new people to engage with. And then, like last night, I found crap. So, just curious about that. So, if you could comment on it here, I'm leaving now and leave a comment. People can read it. There we go. We got the response. All right. Most people don't like their own company. I always been somewhat odd because I've always been quite happy in my own company. Yep, that's just what I've been describing. And yes, I love being my own company. So, but I can exactly see that. And yeah, people don't like the responsibility of their own company. So that's what it is. But relative to the post, I'm wondering. I'll read that in the morning. Is my today's post when you commented on it that you carefully select people you engage with and stuff. I'm just wondering how you keep it up. How many people you actually are able to sustain on a regular basis that they will engage with you, you'll engage with them, and how do those people how do those people actually stay around and keep on posting or engaging? Because like I said, if you're running a whole show and you're trying to find people to engage with, but I've had a lot of people quit. So how many people do you have that are steady producing content for, let's say, a year or more? Because most people I've seen, they've been creating for a couple of months and then they disappear because they found a job generally. So I'll wait another minute or two here around. Otherwise, I'll just read that reply in the morning for him. That's my last beers. Oh, I still have a little bit more. One more goal. All right. Woo. I'm out. I'm back in. Anyway, Oh well, everything fell apart now. So we're good to go. Anyway, I was hoping it would stick around, but it's simple, yet also complex. But the complexity is in the system. So my daily involvement is simple. I'm curious. I'll hang around for the continuation of this. First priority is to reciprocate engagement. I get the list of posts which receive new engagement from my data file. Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm asking, how do you pick the people that will keep on posting for another year or two? Because most people only post for a while before they find a job. Once they find a job, they're gone and they don't post anymore. So that's been my problem because I've been engaging with a lot of people and they just stop posting. And so then what do you do once they stop posting? How do you engage with people when they stop posting? So you got to look for new people, no? But the reciprocating of engagement is obvious and that's quite clear. And sometimes people say, well, just reciprocate for the. No, it's a little bit more involved, but I get the reciprocation. Yes, add you to your list, but how large is your list? Because I try to build a list. I had like 50 people, but then all of a sudden, like 40 people disappeared because they just stopped posting. That's my point. So yeah, when new people engage, I look at their profile, and some of them I add to my list. Some may call this their pipeline, but I don't like this dehumanizing terminology. Yep. Oh, I understand that. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for proving me right again. No, it's just funny because I'm always looking for new people to engage with. Yep, and that's where my post yesterday was born. I find them in the comment section of other people's posts. Yeah, and that's what I was looking at. That's where my scroll came from yesterday. Was because I was scrolling through the feed and I saw just crap. Yeah, I don't that I don't keep that list. That's just the one thing I don't. But yeah, I have people that come in on my profile a lot, so we kind of reciprocate. And yeah, but but definitely, if you focus on just keeping a list and updating it, yeah, it's quite a job though. I mean, I do appreciate the amount of work that goes into keeping that list current, but there was over the couple of years I've been doing this now, there was such a fall off and people starting up and quitting and starting up and quitting. It's kind of like, let me just look at it. What who shows up that day? Yeah, yeah. Well, for that, definitely, I would agree that data works and helps, and yeah, and the active audience is the huge variable that shows up, then disappears, shows up and disappears. So definitely. Anyway, that was my last gulp of beer for the night. Oh, I believe it doesn't take that much time, but it's sort of work. So that's why I look at it. But yeah, updating it and stuff and seeing it. But like I said, in my case, I've seen a lot of people that just appeared, disappeared. The fluctuation is what keeps you busy and stuff. So uh, people are strange. When you're a stranger, people are strange. That's all I can say. In the words of the great one, people are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. And that's Jim Morrison. Uh, Maintaining the list is a simple matter of decision. And I'll get to that. I saw that one. Maintaining the list is a simple matter of decisions, and you make your decisions based on specifics. Those go into my if formulas, which is how I control my priorities. Ha ha, Doors fan? Sort of, because my best friend was the regional director for Warner Brothers in Europe, and I forget it was my 30 something, 35th birthday or something, and he gave me the entire Doors CD collection. I don't have that now, but because nobody uses CDs anymore, but I had the entire archive, even like the stuff that wasn't really published in a wide variety of things. So yeah, I'm a Doors fan. I was I think Jim Morrison took music to another level. Hmm. It is working now, so I don't know, but I think Jim Morrison took music to another level. Weird. What the computer's doing today is really weird. So it's gonna be interesting when we make a podcast out of this. 'Cause I will want my son to make a podcast out of this, but we'll see how that will work out. Because it's been an interesting event today so far. Because all of a sudden this whole thing went mute. My whole screen went like this, and I'm using the phone, so I'm like, what the hell? So we'll see. But yeah, break on through to the other side. It's basically what it comes down to. And my number one band is definitely Iron Maiden. The number one band I've seen the most in concert live, like who I attended most concert of, is definitely Depeche Mode. See them in all sorts of continents. My other one is The Cure, REM, and I love music with lyrics and with meaning and with symbolism and stuff. So Iron Maiden, Doors, REM, Cure, even Metallica was added later on. So that is what it is. We'll see how the sound worked out. But Freya, I gotta go to bed. Gotta get up in the morning. It's been fun having you here again. And yeah, let's keep engaging. And you guys have a wonderful Sunday. And await my post about how the algorithm works really. And it's going to be sort of a solution to my rant about how you got to be a hot chick to live but I will be explaining why I wrote what I wrote because I did it did that post helped me figure out how how the algorithm works, and I realized I was like, yeah, that's right because it's driven by this and not by this, and so it kind of makes sense. It doesn't really help the reputation of LinkedIn, but it does do the job, and the algorithm's just a robot that cares about what it wants to care about and what its primary function is. So I'm going off to sleep. You guys have a great Sunday. Thanks for hanging around. Beer is empty. Last drop. And I'm going offline. And like Ronnie Dio